It's not every day you get a machine as interesting as this one. I'm looking forward to this. This Amiga 600 was actually, you know what? Henry is probably the best person to tell you this. So,
well, I bought it on eBay. It was described by the seller as having a red hue to the video output. And so I thought, well, I could probably fix that. Probably just needs a recap. It didn't need a recap. There had been an absolute car crash occurring inside this little Amiga, this poor little Amiga. So I requested a return on eBay, and a few hours later I received a notification on eBay to say that the return was completed, no further action was necessary on my part, and that I'd been refunded. So, armed with a free Amiga, I mentioned this to Lee, who said it would make an amazing video. So, over to you, mate. Good luck. Well, I bought it on eBay. It was...
So I saw this story unfold on the Retro Hardware Discord, and Henry basically has ordered this Amiga 600 to repair, seeing the listing state that the machine was working but with a hue to the video output. I totally understand why he bought it. But what's going on inside here? Well, I'm going to save that for a minute. I'm just going to turn it on first. So let's plug it in. It hasn't got a floppy drive installed, so there will be a delay. And there you go. It does actually boot. There is a red hue to the video output. Now you're going to see inside. There's nothing around this machine that shows any. Well, I mean, apart from this horrible sunburst orange colour, it's really dark on this side. There's no actual damage. The case clips are broken on both sides, but the keyboard looks intact. And at first glance, it's a reasonable computer, but somebody has actually recapped this with radial caps instead of surface mounted caps. Yeah, you can see there's some caps here and here that shouldn't be like this, but that's not the only thing. In this area in particular, there's some stuff going on down here. Can I just draw your attention, if I get a pointy implement, to this cap here, which is piggybacking the cap underneath it. I'm going to get some photos of that so that I can show you up close. There's also supposed to be a cap here, but that one's completely missing. There were some caps rolling around inside, and so that one's not too bad. It's just been broken off, but this one seems to have the pads still attached to the bottom of the legs, which doesn't bode well. But let's get the microscope out and have a good look at what's going on. Now let's go straight to the problem area. Okay, so we're over on the left-hand side of the board here. This is this is the modulator here, and let's move down. That is the cap that is actually on top of another cap. You can just see it underneath there. And there's this one. Yeah, that pad has lifted there. It looks like the traces are destroyed here. There's all sorts of goop still down here. I don't know if that's flux or just residue from the caps leaking. There's another one over here. That leg there is moving. This one is being a bit shy, but oh, that does look attached, that one. This leg here is moving. That's not attached. That pad there is vaguely attached to the pin on this IC here, or next to it. I'm not even sure what that's attached to actually. The audio caps over by the keyboard connector, there's the keyboard connector, which isn't melted or burnt. I'm quite impressed with that. I'm just going to pull it off of there just because it might be burnt underneath as well. No, that's fine. But yeah, the audio caps, they actually look to be solid. The The pads are intact, but there's still quite a bit of corrosion and damage going on underneath there. Anyway, moving on. This is that one that's missing. I think this is the cap I showed you initially where the legs have broken off. The pad there looks a bit shaky. And there's still, look, there's a lot of green. What is that green? Is that corrosion? Yeah, it's corrosion there. And then finally, let's start here. This is the reset cap. So there's the 555 timer for the reset circuit. This is a revision 1.3, one of the early Amiga 600s, June bug. So yeah, that's the 555 timer, and these components here across this section here are all to do with the reset circuit, and that looks savable, but what concerns me is underneath these components what's going on under here, because these, for instance, these ceramic caps here on either side often get a lot of juice damage and need to be taken off and renewed or cleaned at least. And then over here, this is an op amp. There's supposed to be a cap here. That's probably the one that we saw with the pads with it. I've just given up on that one, I think. This one is attached with a bodge wire to that via there. So that cap is just hanging on. These transistors under here are all heavily corroded and covered in goop. But this op amp here has seen better days. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think I can salvage it, but I know that these two pins here, there's a pin missing altogether here, that may be two. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 14 pin chip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, there's just one pin missing there. So I might be able to reuse this, but I'd actually rather just renew this altogether with a new chip and see if I can. Well, that pad's floating around there. I think most of this is gone. It's moist. Why is it moist? And why is moist such a terrible word? So whilst this works, it's absolutely been, well, I don't want to criticize somebody's work, because this was their machine and they could do what they like with their own machine. But what was wrong in this scenario is that it was sold as a working machine, and the person that had this could easily have had a look inside to see that this carnage was there and put that in the listing. This was hidden from them, and I'm glad that Henry got his money back, because this was sold under false pretenses. That was wrong. That you shouldn't do that. If you're going to sell something, at least let the person know what they're letting themselves in for. Don't try and hide it. Why they thought that they would get away with hiding it, I don't know. Anyway, it might not have been the person that sold it that did the work, so I'm not going to criticize the work directly. It's not the best work, but there might have been a lot of corrosion there in the first place. Those pads might have been destroyed before they tried to do their magic tricks, and stuff like this is just a creative way of actually getting to the same result that we all want, i.e. a working machine. I don't think they got there. I think they probably gave up, and well, they got part of the way there because it had a video output, but it didn't have sound. Definitely didn't have sound, and the video output was incorrect. So let's get this out. I think the thing to do is to remove all of the caps, including these ones. These are the original caps here. That one there and that one there, and there's two over here by the modulator. These two. Let's get all of the caps. Oh look, I've just seen there's two SMD caps still in there. Two survivors. And I don't think they've leaked. What on earth has happened to this machine? Did it get thrown up on by a xenomorph? Okay, let's get all of the electrolytics off of this board, clean it, and then see where we are. Because I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing some budging. Where do I start? Before we get stuck into this project, I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. If you've been working on electronics for any amount of time, you've probably already heard of PCBWay. They are the go-to service for high-quality PCB fabrication. Whether you've got a simple design or something more complex, they can turn it into a reality with incredible precision. But it doesn't stop there. They also offer full assembly services. That's right, you can get your boards made and assembled all in one place. No more worrying about sourcing components or finding assembly services elsewhere. PCBWay takes care of it from start to finish, ensuring everything is soldered and tested to perfection. The best part, they do it all with an incredibly fast turnaround time and at very competitive prices. So whether you're working on a small project or scaling up, PCBWay's got you covered from the first design to the final product. Want to get started on your own project? Head over to PCBWay.com for an instant quote and see just how easy it can be to bring your designs to life. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring this video and supporting the retro tech community. Cheers! Let's start over here by the reset circuit. Let's get that one off first. So Henry was almost certainly perfectly capable of repairing this himself, but he was very, very generous in letting me have a crack at it because I think he wanted to see a video on it. But and I have to say thank you very much to Henry for being so patient because it's taken me a while to get to this one. Oh, I'm trying to be careful here. I think another thing I should be doing here is giving this a gentle brush. I'll find my soft brush with some IPA just to see if I can get rid of some of this goop. Soak it up with a cotton bud as well. You've got to be careful with cotton buds because the fibres can catch on like a lifted pad and rip it off quite easily. So I'm just doing this really, really gently. Let's get rid of that pube. It's still there. It's hanging on. Come on. You don't belong in there. Ugh. Okay, that actually doesn't look too bad. I might need to remove some of the components around here. So these transistors here I'll take off. And that cap, this resistor and this resistor will have to come off. Probably the 555 timer as well, but I'm going to have to be careful because if it's going to need heat to do that, and I don't want to make any more issues. I don't want to cause any more damage. So it will need to come off though. There's definitely corrosion on those legs, so this will all need renewing. It looks like these ones as well, probably. Just to do it, I want to do a proper job for Henry because he's a pal. Right, let's get them bodge wires off. Doesn't smell good about this one. The burn mark on that wire. It could have been me. You know, I need to take this out of the case actually before I go too much further. I'm not sure what's going on there in case I touch a soldering iron on the side of the case. And something else I really should do is check the back of the board. Yeah, oh God. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. This is over by where the sound, where the op amp is. Yeah. Something bad has happened to that chip. That capacitor there. Is that? Oh, it's oh. Well, it's still intact. Oh no, it has lost its conductors, and that pad's gone. Okay, so that's on the list of things that need sorting. We'll have to find it. Luckily, there's a PCB Explorer for this. That must be where that wire is coming through, that via. So I need to get rid of that. There we go. There's a lot of corrosion here. That is not a good sign. If the corrosion's come through here, oh, that's not too bad, but these vias concern me. I wonder if that's solder mask that someone's put on there. Maybe not. Maybe just corroded solder mask. It's horrible. Right, so I'm just going to snip that off on this side. Make it a little bit easier to pull through. So that should just, yeah, that comes out now. It's going in the parts bin. Let's get rid of this. And give that a clean. You owe me some isopropyl alcohol, Henry. I'm going to use buckets on this one. Yeah, it's not too bad. That's a trace there. A trace there and lots of goop. It's far and wide, this goop. I'm not convinced it's all capacitor juice. I wonder if this has had a spill of like Coca-Cola or something, because it's even over here. More green corrosion there, and this whole area is just covered in this stickiness. Yeah, you owe me some cotton buds as well, Henry, because they're super expensive. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, look, that in there. I think Henry might need to put this in his but. Oh, I wonder if I can fit this in my buzzy bath. It might fit it in half at a time. That might be a good idea, because you only need to do this end and this end. As long as I can fit, I'm pretty sure I can get half of it in at a time. That should be fine. Okay. Well, I don't think I need to worry about taking off the keyboard connector or the audio ports, because I might take off one, maybe the red audio port, because to get access to these for putting new caps on, if I can put surface mount caps here, some of these are going to need normal caps in the same way as the original bodger did. That's another one out. Oh, smelly. I'm doing this without the microscope, this part, because I need my peripheral vision to see that and make sure that I'm not touching any plastic here. It's quite smelly in that area. Now that I'm not working around a cap, I can get in there with the braid. A pile of solder off of there. I just clipped the corner of the audio port, but it didn't really melt it. Oh, there goes the pad. Now that's definitely not me. That was off all by itself. Still attached to the trace actually. But that's going to be very weak. So I'll leave the pad there for now. We'll clean it up and see what happens to it. I might use that again. Okay. I'm going to take this one out first. And I'm going to do it actually by snipping its legs. I think there's a trace still attached there somewhere. I can't get to that one. Somehow that's still attached. I should just snip that, shouldn't I? Has that gone all together? Yeah, that one's gone. Oh. This one's ridiculous. Oh, well, it's not attached anyway. No, and the other pad's lifted as well now. So that pad there is lifted up. I'm going to leave the piggyback ones for now and take out these two, and let's take out these two first actually. These are original, so there's no damage on these that I can see. So I'm actually tempted to just walk these ones out. I've lost the solder. Marvelous. Ooh. Look at that. What is that? Let's get the other one out. Well, that one's okay. Absolutely amazing. Right, and I'm just going to snip these legs off of this tower of capacitor. Like that. Just to make it a little bit safer to remove. Not that I think these pads have survived. No. That one wasn't even on pads. I'm not sure what that was attached to. Got one more here. And that is all of those. This video encoder chip here looks at it like it might have survived, and it's working. But I might have to remove it anyway. That transistor will definitely need to be removed, and that big resistor there. All that, I mean, I'll probably remove it and leave it off. A lot of these caps are to do with the modulator, so they don't even need to be replaced. So I'm not even going to put all of these back, but there are some more that do need to be replaced. Yeah, that cap, I think that cap leaked. This one, there's juice down here under the can. I think that cap's actually leaked and caused even more carnage. 2 electrolytics down here, and I'm going to take those out the safest way I know how, which is to pierce the tops and then heat the board gently. I'm going to cover this coil with some foil tape. Yeah, heat the board gently and just pop them off some hot air. Pop the tops. And 330 degrees heat, just heat the general area, just get it nice and warm. Right, clean up time. So that came off really nice and easy, and that's how it should have been done in the first place, really, or in a similar way. This is a sort of board where there's been a lot of corrosion, where if you'd have tried to twist these off or snip them off, and then you'd lose all of the pads. There's heavy signs of corrosion around here, so they're all weakened anyway. And there's no perfect way to take these off. Even the method I've just used with hot air and piercing the top has its risks every single way. So people will argue in the in YouTube comments till the cows come home about which way is the best way, and the best way is whatever way you want to do it. But don't come in my YouTube comments telling me how I should do it, because I like the way I do it, and I think it's a decent way of doing it. And as a favour to you, I won't come and tell you how to do it. Although do it this way, it's better. That's actually looking quite good now. What's confused me here is that they've done all of this work. They've taken all these caps off and then they put all the caps on, but they didn't clean anything up. Anything at all. It's all still on here, all the original cap juice. I'm going to leave that foil in place for now, just so that I can put those smoothing caps back on. Just trying to dislodge any difficult to remove bits of juice, especially in this connector. I don't want pins falling off of this connector later on down the line, because I know Henry will want to put an IDE hard drive in here. So although Buzzy Bath, he'll put it in his ultrasonic cleaner, I'm sure. I don't think I'm going to bother, because I don't think it needs... I don't know, I'm confused. I do worry about putting crystals into ultrasonic baths. I'd risk it on my own one, and I have put an Amiga 500 into an ultrasonic bath before and cleaned it thoroughly, and I'm pretty sure it worked afterwards. I'm not 100% sure about that though. So that's, yeah, I'm going to actually leave that to Henry's decision. So I'll fix it and then he can ruin it. Oh, yeah, that's gone. Yeah, he can ruin it in his own ultrasonic bath if he wants to. Now we've got an area over here that I need to address as well. Let's give it a clean before I put the desoldering braid on it. Right. Yep, nothing wrong with that area at all. I'm happy to put a cap straight on there. But over here we've got a lot of work to do, and over here we've got a lot of work to do. I think removing that op amp is probably the next thing to do. Is there anything else I need to protect? Let's get some foil around there just to protect everything else. I'll be a little bit careful with this stuff because it's super, super sticky. And I don't want to rip any components off. I should probably take those transistors off at the same time. Change your mind. I'm going to leave those in place for now. And then just cover up those 3 passives at the end there. I just want to take this off on its own so I can have a look. That'll do. Abort, abort. It's not moving. So I'm going to reflow it first. Should reflow nice and easy because it's nice and hot. I think that chip's had it. Really lightly pass. Oh. Oh dear. Take that one off anyway. So areas of concern to me are these dark bits here in between the pads. It looks like this bit of the board has been scorched. That pad's loose. That one's, they're all loose. These, oh yeah, that one's loose. That one. I think that one's loose at the top. That one's loose. Oh dear. Okay, let's carry on. Taking take this resistor off as well. And this capacitor. Might as well take this one off while I'm here. Well, this one's reluctant. Got it. Pretty sure there's no component on that end one anyway. Need to find out what these transistors are. Right, I've looked things up, and what we have here is Q511 is a 2N3904 and Q622 is a 2N3904 as well, as is Q341, which I believe is this one. So those 3, that one, and that one, are all kind of very common transistors. 2N3904s are very common. No, 341 is actually a 2N3906, so it's a slightly different transistor to these two. These two are not transistors, they're JFETs, apparently. I don't know what that is, something like a MOSFET. And they are MPF 102s. So I've ordered a bunch of the transistors, the 2N3904s and the 3906. They're on order. I've also ordered some capacitors for the ones that I took out either side here, which are, I think there's a 10 nanofarad and a 100 nanofarad. I've already got the resistors in this size package, but these MOSFETs, or JFETs, sorry, these MPF 102s are very difficult to get hold of now. You can't buy these from the likes of DigiKey, and there are equivalents that you can buy, but because this is an audio circuit, I'm not entirely sure whether I should replace them. So what I'm going to do with these, with the ones that are easy to replace and very cheap to replace, I'm going to replace those, and all of these passives here I'm going to replace. But these two JFETs, I'm going to see if they work, because I'd rather, if these ones didn't need replacing, then I'm not going to replace them. But if they do need replacing, then I'll source some and then we'll do it that way. But yeah, I'll take these 3 transistors off and we'll get those cleaned up. And then I'm going to, once these are disposed of, so like I don't muddle them up, I'm going to take these 2 off, clean these pads up, put them back on, and then carry on with what we're doing in general. The next job is to take this 555 timer off. This is just a place where traces go. There's no traces going under this side of this MP206Z chip here. So there's a trace that goes here and over to here, but that's not in the firing line. We're looking at this area here, which is where you usually get the capacitor juice flowing under this 555 timer, but not so much here. If it's under there, it's not going to hurt anything. I don't think. Oh, there is a trace going under there actually, but it looks fairly clean this side, but this side looks more crusty. That's coming off. These are coming off, and then we're going to clean up. Right, so let's get rid of these transistors first. I'm just going to flow some fresh solder onto the pads. Scrape it away like that. Oh, it really does smell bad. There's a really fishy smell coming from underneath those. Yeah, I think just on the strength of that needs to come off as well. So let's get the other transistor off. Like that. A little clean. Oh, that smells so bad. It's really strong. Right, I'm going to use chunks of desoldering braid this time because it's just a bit easier to maneuver in these tight spaces. That's good. Very nice. Let's flow some solder on the 555 timer and get that off first, and then we'll take that other chip off as well. There you go. In fact, I can take both of these off at the same time, I think. There you go. It doesn't matter if it looks a mess. It's all coming off anyway. Don't really need to protect anything here. I would normally cover things up, but the resistors here, I mean, they're quite common resistor. A 360 ohm resistor there and a 10k resistor there. I can just replace those if they do come off. Let's get the board warm first so it doesn't popcorn. I'm at 330 degrees. Let's focus down on the chip a bit more. There it goes. Oh, it blew away. This one should soon follow. And looking underneath that chip, there's definite signs of goo under there. And under the 555 timer, not so bad, actually. That doesn't look as bad. But I'm just going to put them in. This is all of the parts. I'm just chucking it in there for now, just so that I know where they are. Get the board clean, and then we can start putting things back when we know where we are. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. Now I'm not sure what that is. It could be glue from when, or no, that solder mask there is delicate. I've just scraped a bit of it away and exposed some bare copper, which I will fix. Yeah, this all needs cleaning up. Let's give it a squirt first. Actually, give it a brush. Let's go over these pads with some braid. That looks really good. Wonderful. Okay, I think that's as clean as I'm going to get that. Well, it's not as clean as I'm going to get that, so I'm going to clean it a bit more. So the 3 transistors that I took off are here. I'm going to chuck those in the bin now because I know that I've got some new ones on the way. And these JFETs here, I want to take those off and get the board underneath them clean and these cleaned off. So let's do that. Perfect. I'm going to stick those in a little bit of tape just to keep them safe. JFETs. Right, that's going in the bin of other bits. Let's get this bit cleaned up. Very fishy. Glad I took those off. Yeah, you can see here, this copper here is exposed. I wonder if that is conductive. I've got my multimeter here and I put it on continuity mode, the mode that beeps. And I bet that that is, yeah, look, that's completely exposed copper. Yeah, a lot of that's exposed as well. It shouldn't be. So for instance, if I go to here and then go to this part of the trace, unless I scrape it, and even then it's not, I'd have to scratch it off. So all of this copper is exposed. Is that exposed? That bit's okay. But yeah, that's exposed copper, and all of this over here is as well. Bits like that and that. Where's that go? Yeah, that's just. But yeah, the point is that I needed to take that off and this one as well, because there was corrosion under here. There was electrolytic fluid underneath those JFETs and the transistors that was corroding the solder mask, and eventually that's going to eat its way down into the copper, and eventually the copper would go. So I'm happy that this area is now reasonably ready for rebuilding. Still, there's still bits of it that concern me. What's going on there? Oh, that's just a missing pad altogether. Yeah, I'm happy that I can put all this back together now. I can put the solder. Look, under the 555 timer, there's another piece of bare copper that definitely needed to come off. I wonder if that is corroding as well. Yeah, I think I'm in the position now that this is ready for rebuilding. I don't think I can get it any cleaner than what it is. Although looking at that bit there, I don't like the look of that. Another thing I need to do is go through and check all of these traces in this surrounding area to make sure that there aren't any sneaky breaks anywhere. I don't want to have to be taking off chips like this. These are not easy to get on and off. Not when you're used to working on spectrums. But I think, Henry, this is for you, maybe this sort of area is, if there is anything underneath here that needs to be washed, that's the sort of thing that the Buzzy Bath will take care of. Some nice citric acid or something like that. And then a soak in some isopropyl alcohol. Right, so we've also got, before we move on, the other side of this this area is not looking great. So I want to give this a quick clean before we move on. Look at that. What is that? I don't understand what that is. That looks like corrosion. I I don't think there's any problems in this area, but you can see the solder mask is starting to get a bit thin around there. Could just be me overreacting, but anyway, that's clean now. Yeah, but back to this bit. This whole area around here is covered in goop. So all around here, that's that cap that we saw earlier that fell off or was hanging off. Look at what the copper just being exposed there just from washing this. Okay, so I've got some work to do here as well. This trace here is obviously, well, the pad here is gone and that trace is exposed, but there's a nice veer there and it looks like it connects up to there. Yeah, obviously no pad, but the trace is still there, so that isn't irretrievable. Where does that go? Is it there? Oh no, it goes to there. That one goes to there. Does that go to there? It's difficult because it goes under this R. I don't know whether that's the trace or not. Oh no, it looks like it goes around, goes down there. Yeah, it goes to there. And everything looks okay. Obviously it will need a coat of solder mask, but nothing looks broken. So the problem I've got is that on PCB Explorer, that the version on there is a later version of the Amiga 600 motherboard, and it doesn't show all of the traces that I want to see. Wonder if this one, some areas are the same. In fact, right, okay, this is actually fairly good. So those two are connected. This one is connected to this one. Oh, it's supposed to be. Oh no, maybe this one is connected to that one. That's good. And this one is connected to something up here. Oh, that one. And this part here is actually very different on the PCB Explorer. There's that via there should be around here somewhere, according to that. But I'm happy that that's there. Yeah, that whole area is completely different. So some of this is guesswork. So that missing capacitor there is a 6.8 nanofarad. Yeah, 6.8 nanofarad cap that's supposed to be in there. Oh, it's a good idea to clean this one up now. That blob of red that you can see in the middle there, that's actually glue from the factory. They glued all of these components in place and then take it through wave soldering. Right, I'm just over the other side of the board now, and I'm just going to clean up this area, or get all the solder off of this area. Actually, we should take that video encoder chip off as well and remove this bodge capacitor. I'm pretty sure this is a factory bodge. Yeah, I'm just heating that leg there, it smells. And find out what that Q233 is, and we can either preserve that one or, oh well, there's a couple more as well. So we've got 233, 231 and 232. Okay, so they're 2N3904, so I'm going to remove all three of those and get rid of them, replace them with new ones. Let's do that now. And let's remove this video encoder chip as well. And just so we can clean everything up. And that resistor up there as well. We'll get that out of the way. Nice, that'll do. I want to protect these filters. Are they filters? I don't know. Someone tell me. Just give them a little bit of a shield from the hot air. And careful with this connector as well. Yep. It's great when you remove something and then you see underneath what might have been left if you hadn't removed it. And you feel really justified in your decisions. That really needed to come off. I'll show you under this big resistor here. Is it 40k? Yeah, so that's the underside of the resistor. You can see there's goop there. I'll clean that up, but there's also a trace that runs straight under it, and you can see it's all moist here. This is all cap juice, and it needs to come off. I might have to take this filter thing off. There's signs of juice underneath this one. These look clean, they're white around them, and these resistors here look okay. And I might need to take the connector out. And I think I've got new ones of these, so I might just replace it just in case there's corrosion under there. Look, the other side of that area, some of the juice has come through. So you can see around here, there's signs of corrosion. Yeah, look, the traces are, the solder mask is disappearing. There's another pube. Get rid of that. Could be a cat hair. It's quite straight. And there's just little spots of corrosion around here, so this will all need a clean up as well. Oh yeah, look, all of this is that connector, the IDE connector, and all of these are got green around them. So that is definitely going to have to come out. This has turned into a longer video than I expected. Obviously, when you start these things, you have no idea how long it's going to take you to repair something, and making a video about it does take a lot longer. So I'm going to break it down into at least 2 parts, maybe 3. One of them, this part is going to be just the cleanup, which we've done. I do need to just give that last bit clean. I won't deny you this last bit. And I'll clean up the other side as well, but that is just a little bit of mild corrosion. And the next part of the video will be me rebuilding it, putting things back on, making sure that all of the traces are where they're supposed to go where they're supposed to be going. And all of the parts work that I put back in. And all of these caps, or not all of these caps, some of them are not going back in. So yeah, we've got some more to do, but I'm going to break it up here, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thank you to all my amazing followers and viewers and people that like and subscribe and leave comments. Thank you to all my Patreons. You can find links to all of the ways to support me in the video description. And thank you to my kind sponsor, PCBWay. Brilliant. Right. Yeah, I think that's it.